Today we're going to talk about how to add locations on an invoice so you can actually show the location of each item. Maybe you do work for a very large company and they have a huge building with multiple floors, and the first floor gets certain items and the second floor gets other items. You can actually segregate this stuff on the invoice and get a little line next to each line item that tells you where each item is going. So the first thing we need to do is we need to start at the control table. We're going to go to Settings, Control Settings, and once we're on the control table, we're going to go ahead and click on this tab over here for Routes. Once on the Routes tab, we need to set this invoice print version to say with sub-locations. We need this one to say with sub-locations. And then we also need to turn this on. Include sub-location item on invoice. Yes. Once both of these are set, we then can click Close in the software, and those are set to display on the invoice. Now we need to set up a few other things. I'm going to click on my route schedule because this only works with your route schedule. Basically, we generate invoices from our routes, and this will kick all that into gear. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and head into any customer detail that exists on the route schedule. Just double-click the customer name. That'll bring you in there. And then we need to click on customer locations. Let's say this customer has multiple locations, multiple floors. First floor, we can call this office. And then maybe the second floor is a place to eat. So we set both these locations. Once we have these set, the next thing we want to do is click on the Pricing tab. On this Pricing tab, you have this button over here that says Add Items by Location. We're going to click on Add Items by Location. And remember, you have to set this up for each customer. So each customer gets its own set of items and its own location. First thing you need to do is figure out what item you need to tie to a certain area. If you are going to use the location area, we now have those two things in the drop-down to select. I'm going to select the first floor for item 1 and item 2. Let's go ahead and put those on the first floor. Maybe item 3 and item 4 need to go to the second floor. Maybe they only care about whatever these items are on the second floor. Once you have those in here, go ahead and click Close to save that change. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and auto-generate the invoices. So I only have one stop on here, but that's just to make this easy to view. If you had multiple stops and each customer had different locations set up, these would all display on the invoice appropriately. I'm going to go ahead and auto-generate this for 3-1. So let's auto-generate our tickets for 3-1. And we're going to go ahead and hit Generate, and you'll notice that there's the printout that I selected earlier. First thing I need to do is generate the tickets. I now have invoices if I go and look at them. You could double-click the invoice and you're already going to start seeing the items that I selected to show locations. You'll see that 3 and 4 did show up with the second floor, and items 1 and 2 showed up with the first floor locations. These items we didn't put a floor on. If we had, we'd get those also. From here, if you were to hit print, you will go ahead and see that it shows the locations on the printout. We can enable this for the mobile devices, so if you need that, please send an email to customer support, all one word, customer support at westromsoftware.com, and Westrom is W-E-S-T-R-O-M, and then the word software.com. So all one word, customer support at westromsoftware.com. Ask to have the locations turned on your mobile devices, and we'll get that kicked in for you. And the last thing you need to note, even though these locations show up on the invoice, they do not push to QuickBooks. So you will never see these locations show up on the QuickBooks side. This is purely something to reference from our software when you're doing your job. And that's how you knock that out. So that's how you show locations on your RouteStar invoice.